And now let's talk about the slowest organism on the planet, bureaucracy. It's a big machine that simply refuses to move. In India, we're used to this deadlock. To get things done, you need to grease the wheels a bit. And that involves two questions. One, can you pay bribes? And two, do you know someone? Someone who can get the wheels moving. Now, put together, we call this corruption. Today, there are indices that measure corruption in countries, and there is one called the Corruption Perception Index. It ranks 180 countries in the world. Most of Europe ranks within the top 20. It makes you think that they are clean, vigilant societies. Turns out, Europe loves greasing the wheel too. And this pretense would have continued unnoticed if not for the Wuhan virus. As they say, crises can bring out the best and the worst in you. In Europe's case, it is the worst, consistently. Let me tell you the findings of a transparency survey conducted in Europe. This was between October and December last year. 40,000 people responded, so this is a big sample size. Nearly a third of them relied on personal connections to get health care. What does this mean? Basically, they knew someone. Maybe someone at the hospital or in the health ministry or with big pharma, someone who can get them treatment. In some countries, this number was higher. 54% of the people in the Czech Republic used their contacts to get health care. 46% in Portugal, 41% in Hungary. Think about it, almost half the people in these countries jumped the queue. During a health crisis, this can be disastrous. Vaccines and healthcare are supposed to prioritize the vulnerable population. It doesn't matter if you know the health minister or if your friend works at the clinic. When well-connected people jump the line, they're denying critical care to patients. They're endangering lives. And we've seen this repeatedly during the pandemic, especially in Europe. In Spain, top health officials resigned after they jumped the queue. In Germany, the government had to threaten legal action against queue jumpers. Why is this happening? And why so much in Europe? Write it down to European entitlement. They had money, they had power, they had connections, so obviously it was their right to get treatment first. That's the thought process here. And if connections did not work, they were happy to flash the wallet. 6% people in the survey reported paying bribes for healthcare. In some countries, this number was significantly higher, 22% in Romania, 19% in Bulgaria, and 17% in Hungary. Does Europe still think that corruption is an Asian phenomenon or an African problem? Because it isn't. The survey chief summed it up perfectly. And I'm quoting here, the EU is often seen as a bastion of integrity, but these findings show that countries across the region remain vulnerable to the insidious effects of corruption. It basically means Europe too is corrupt. People there are slowly waking up to this reality. In the same survey, 62% people said that corruption was a major problem in the government. 76% said the situation was not improving. This is worrying for a lot of reasons. One, imagine the amount of money flowing through the EU, a combined budget of more than $1 trillion. This is one of the richest blocs in the world. How much of this money is leaking? Is anyone even looking for the leaks? And two, this survey comes at a crucial time for Europe. They're set to approve a $687 billion rescue plan. $687 billion. Bailouts are harvest season for corrupt officials and corporates. Without oversight, money can be easily siphoned off. But the biggest blow is European prestige, the image of a clean, no-nonsense Europe. When disaster came, all that self-righteousness went down the drain. People bribed their way to hospital beds and vaccines. Now, don't get me wrong, things are not any better in the subcontinent. Greasing wheels is a way of life here, but sometimes it's important to set the record straight to show you how global challenges are often presented as third world problems. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.